The liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker.
The Large Hadron Collider will reopen today after 3 years of being shut down for improvements.
Tucker Carlson, known for stirring headlines and diving deep into global undercurrents, recently delivered one of his most gripping revelations yet. In a special broadcast that caught the attention of millions, he exposed what he claims is an unprecedented shutdown at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and warned that something terrifying may have taken place. The news rattled many, especially those already wary of the enigmatic experiments housed within CERN's sprawling subterranean complex on the Franco-Swiss border. For decades, CERN has remained at the frontier of particle physics, and while it has earned praise for groundbreaking scientific achievements, it's also been the epicenter of intense speculation. Carlson's report set the internet ablaze, not merely because of the shutdown itself, but because of what he suggested may have caused it. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The timing of the shutdown, Carlson alleged, coincided with a series of anomalous readings picked up by independent sensors and instruments around the globe. These weren't ordinary anomalies. They involved unexplained bursts of electromagnetic activity, distortions in gravity readings, and most unsettling of all, possible temporal fluctuations that defied known physics. The events appeared too synchronized, too intentional to be dismissed as random noise. Carlson's sources, anonymous but purportedly credible, suggested that an experimental run at CERN had gone catastrophically wrong, far beyond the scope of a typical system failure. Something had been unleashed, or worse, invited in. According to Carlson, the lead-up to the incident began during a recent particle collision experiment designed to probe deeper into the Higgs field, with the aim of uncovering clues about dark matter and extra dimensions. These high-energy collisions, operating at near-light speeds, are supposed to mimic conditions present just fractions of a second after the Big Bang. For years, physicists have speculated about the theoretical dangers of these experiments: miniature black holes, quantum instability, or even the accidental rupture of the space-time continuum. Most of these concerns have been brushed aside by the scientific community, but Carlson argued that such scenarios may no longer be purely hypothetical. One of the most haunting aspects of the revelation involved what insiders reportedly described as a field inversion event, where known physical laws began to behave unpredictably inside the Large Hadron Collider's core ring. Sensors monitoring the collider allegedly transmitted incomprehensible data before going dark entirely. For several minutes, according to Carlson's broadcast, a part of the LHC simply ceased responding to any known command structures. External communication with its mainframe became impossible. The zone was placed on immediate lockdown, and senior scientists were evacuated under heavy security escort. Simultaneously, deep seismic tremors, not typical of the region, were recorded just beneath the collider's location, prompting speculation that something far more serious had taken place beneath the Earth's crust. The broader implications were even more unsettling. Carlson warned that the anomaly could represent an unintentional breach into another dimension, or even a quantum leakage into alternate timelines. This isn't science fiction fantasy. Such theories are embedded in string theory and quantum field research. If accurate, this could mean that CERN may have unintentionally opened a temporary rift, allowing something unknown and potentially conscious to cross into our reality. The sudden need for a full-scale shutdown, not just a maintenance cycle, further fed the notion that the situation had spiraled far outside of anyone's control. This concept of interdimensional leakage isn't new, but it's always remained theoretical, until now. According to the details Carlson laid out, the energy spikes and field distortions bore a signature pattern not seen before, but eerily consistent with theoretical predictions of dimensional rifts. These spikes were picked up not only within CERN, but also echoed across various deep space observatories, suggesting a ripple through the very fabric of space-time. Time, as measured by atomic clocks in some nearby laboratories, appeared to momentarily desynchronize, an impossibility under normal physics. That data alone would be enough to merit global concern, but Carlson suggested that the effects might have reached even further. Adding to the mystery, several witnesses near the CERN facility described seeing an unusual atmospheric disturbance above the complex. Local residents reported lights in the sky, unnatural cloud formations, and a low droning hum that seemed to vibrate through concrete and bone alike. These sightings weren't isolated. Similar patterns were seen in satellite imagery from multiple countries, leading some researchers to propose that the collider's experiment had disturbed a higher dimensional structure, possibly something akin to a brain, a foundational layer of reality in multiverse theory. Carlson also delved into what he termed unconfirmed but alarming leaks about biological anomalies that followed shortly after the shutdown. Several individuals working close to the LHC allegedly reported vivid hallucinations, lost time, and even episodes of temporary amnesia. One source claimed that a researcher emerged from the core control chamber in a catatonic state, mumbling in languages he did not previously speak. If even partially true, these accounts suggest a psychological or neurological impact from whatever occurred during the incident, perhaps caused by exposure to unknown quantum fields, or even non-terrestrial frequencies. The psychological effects extended beyond CERN personnel. In the days following the incident, unusual behavior was observed in animal populations within a 30-mile radius. Birds abandoned their nests en masse. Dogs were found pacing erratically, and livestock refused to eat or drink. Local veterinarians could find no medical explanation. More eerie still, some residents claimed that their digital devices began malfunctioning, with voice assistants producing garbled messages or switching on unprompted. Power surges occurred without cause, and compasses reportedly spun without stopping. Though these claims remain anecdotal, the volume and consistency of them gave Carlson's broadcast an extra edge of credibility. Carlson didn't stop at physical phenomena. He also raised questions about the symbolic dimensions of CERN's work. The facility has long been criticized for its esoteric aesthetics, such as the prominent statue of the Hindu deity Shiva, the Destroyer, which stands just outside its main complex. To some, this is merely a nod to the dance of particles, a metaphor for creation and destruction. But others see it as a deliberate signal, a gesture toward ancient knowledge and forces humanity barely understands. Carlson proposed that the incident might be the latest in a series of high-tech rituals masquerading as science, a theory that, while controversial, taps into a growing sense of unease among those skeptical of unchecked scientific power. The unsettling part of Carlson's revelation wasn't just that something had gone wrong. It was the possibility that something had gone irrevocably different. The idea that a scientific facility backed by dozens of nations could inadvertently tamper with the structure of existence is terrifying, not because it's sensational, but because it may be entirely plausible. With billions of dollars funneled into research that probes ever deeper into the quantum void, the boundary between science and hubris grows thin. Carlson painted a picture of scientists potentially overwhelmed by the very power they sought to control, like Icarus reaching beyond safe limits toward the incandescent core of the universe. This incident also reignited the debate about whether institutions like CERN should be held to stricter international scrutiny. As Carlson pointed out, no democratic vote ever authorized experiments that could theoretically unravel time or punch holes into parallel dimensions. And yet these projects continue with little public oversight, wrapped in layers of academic jargon and protected by layers of national and international law. The sheer scale of what CERN is capable of achieving, whether intentional or accidental, has elevated it beyond a research facility into something more akin to a metaphysical catalyst. If Carlson's claims are true, then the shutdown wasn't just technical, it was existential. Another troubling thread involved the sudden communication blackout that accompanied the shutdown. Data feeds that normally update global scientists and universities ceased transmission. Secure lines were closed. Websites were locked behind error messages, and even archived datasets appeared to vanish. For a facility that thrives on transparency and open collaboration, such secrecy felt ominous. Carlson hinted at the possibility that the data gathered during the event had been classified, potentially removed from the public domain permanently. If that's the case, it suggests that what CERN encountered wasn't merely a failed experiment, it was a revelation that someone, somewhere, decided humanity wasn't ready for. The implications of such a decision are staggering. If humanity really is on the brink of uncovering interdimensional travel, or worse, if we've stumbled upon intelligent structures outside of our known reality, the ethical, philosophical, and spiritual consequences could be profound. Carlson pressed this point with unusual gravity, urging viewers to consider what it means for humanity to cross thresholds that natural evolution never intended. Are we explorers, bravely venturing into the unknown? Or are we children playing with matches inside a cosmic armory? Not all physicists agree with Carlson's perspective, and some may argue that the entire event is being blown out of proportion. But even if only a fraction of what he reported holds weight, it forces an urgent reconsideration of how humanity interacts with the most fundamental layers of the universe. The sheer fragility of existence, of time, space, and identity, may no longer be immutable constants, but variables manipulated from behind a control panel buried beneath Swiss soil. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us. What are your thoughts on CERN's shutdown? What do you think Tucker will reveal? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.